Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and let's take a look at some custom Cordovan wallets. And indeed, not everything in the video is shell Cordovan. There's also a couple Dublin items, as well as some watch straps that we're going to look at. Let's start off first here looking at this really incredible Vic snap wallet, and this one has a magnetic snap closure. This is made in a very unique piece of Cordovan. This is all reverse ultraviolet shell Cordovan, where we get all these random dye marks, all that random splattered effect. And of course we have the Horween shell Cordovan ink stamp cut perfectly into the exterior. Here's a new wallet style that we haven't really released. We've only made a handful of these. This is the vertical Frank the Enforcer that we're currently calling it. It probably needs to get a new style name, but the color here is Western Cigar shell Cordovan, more of that straightforward brown shade when you compare it to something like the color number 8. The color 8 has a little bit more burgundy to it, and the cigar shell just more of a straight up brown shade. So let's look at this guy here. Large slot in the center. You can see this piece right here, these two pieces, this will accommodate cash, US dollars folded in half. We have a hidden card slot here. We've got two card holders on the top, and then as well as two card holders on the back. So a lot going on for this custom wallet. Here's another custom vertical Frank the Enforcer. Garnet shell Cordovan this time. You can see the two card holders a little bit more easily without that texture. We've got a hidden card slot underneath here, a larger card slot in the center, two card holders on the back, and the Horween shell Cordovan hot stamp. All these items that we're looking at are going to be shipping out today. So everybody that's picked up one, custom ordered one with my brother Matt, thank you guys so much for supporting us. This wallet here is our Bugs Moran style in the raw amaretto shell Cordovan. The raw amaretto is much different than the standard amaretto, obviously with the color and the luster. So you can see all the raw shell Cordovan has this mild sheen to it. It's not nearly as bright and shiny and mirror-like as a normal piece of shell Cordovan. And the idea is that once you wear this leather, it becomes a little bit brighter and shinier and develops a patina that's unique to your style. And something like this raw amaretto here, it's a lot darker, more rich in color. So this one here has a really cool contrasting blue stitching. And on the interior, we have a reverse blue shell Cordovan for all these card holders on the vertical Bugs Morans. You can see the vertical card slots here. It's very similar to the vertical Frank that we're just looking at, where we have hidden card slots underneath here. And here's another Bugs Moran. This is the first piece that we will look at that is not shell Cordovan. This is a piece of epic grain character on the Bison English Tan Dublin. Dublin leather from Horween is a veg tan full grain leather. We get incredible dramatic grain character and all this figuring in the leather. You see a lot more of this figuring on animal hides like the bison. The Dublin also has a hard wax layer finished onto the surface, so when you flex the leather, you displace and mobilize some of those waxes that are finished up on the surface, and we reveal a little bit more of these undertones, which are much lighter in color. So you get great depth of color on the bison in the English Tan Dublin color. On the interior, this is our traditional card holder layout for the Bugs Moran. A little bit different than the vertical that we just looked at. You have two card holders on each side. The larger card holders underneath will fit US dollars folded in half, and then the top card holders will fit credit cards. Stepping up in size just a little bit, this is our Tony the Ant style. On the exterior of this wallet, we have a darker blue shell Cordovan. This might be navy shell Cordovan or intense blue shell Cordovan. I actually didn't look at these before coming in the shop today because I wanted to surprise myself. Been on vacation for a little bit over a week, and it's really exciting for me to see all these pieces in person. So on the exterior of this one, we also have a complementing blue stitching. This one's been personalized for SJW. You can see on the bottom right there, really nice pieces of shell. And on the interior, we have another reverse interior. This is really awesome looking. I'm not sure if this is reverse blue or reverse black shell Cordovan. Kind of looks like a reverse black or reverse green shell. They're all kind of similar on the reverse side because they're all randomized. And of course, this one has a great Horween shell Cordovan stamp cut into the left card holder as well as in the centerpiece. Here's another Bugs Moran with a piece of shell Cordovan that I really like. This is tumbled natural shell Cordovan. And the way that this pattern is achieved is by putting a piece of natural shell Cordovan in a steam heated drum and tumbling the snot out of it. So you get this random sort of pebbled look. And on something like shell Cordovan, it does not pebble like most leathers. It gets this really unique patterning, and all of the textures on the tumbled shells are a little bit unique. On the interior of this wallet, we also have a reverse black shell Cordovan interior, and this is a really nice thickness, a very thin Bugs Moran here. And stepping it up even bigger, this is black shell Cordovan on the Fat Herbie, and check out this piece of shell. Really large context to look at, and I love seeing large pattern pieces of shell Cordovan because you can you can kind of rock them around in the light, and it really looks marvelous with all that bright shiny luster. Let's take a look at the inside. We have black shell Cordovan on the interior, also some hidden card slots, and this one is left open on the right side, and this is to accommodate a passport behind the right side here. Here's a new leather that will be coming out later this month. Brand new piece of royal blue cypress, and this is made on our Gus card holder. We had a customer who's really interested in getting a royal blue cypress. Gus made, so we made this one up for him in advance. But we do have some more royal blue cypress wallets coming up in about a week. And one more Gus card case to show you. This one is in an incredible piece of marbled black shell Cordovan. Check that out. It's a little bit more orange, a little bit more tan in this section here. And you can see that contrasts with a little bit more of this greenish, bluish, blackish color and all the color in between. So let me spin this one around for you because the color does change very dramatically, especially on the marble shells. You get a huge range of color. Let's take a look at the inside again. A little bit more of a dramatic contrast here. Very dark on the right and dark on the top. A little bit lighter tan on the left. And I'll try to spin this one around because especially in the dark areas of the marbled shells, it's very directional in color. So in this angle, I'm noticing it's a little bit darker, but as I spin it around, it's a little bit lighter at this angle. I have a couple more fat Herbies to look at. This is a tall Herbie here where we have the exterior bill slot that extends all the way to the top, and it gives us a very, very clean look on the outside as well as on the inside of the wallet. I believe this color is Kia Green Shell Cordovan. It's a little bit of a lighter green shade, a little bit more of like a pale green, and it's really, really cool. Just look at the inside again. I love the flush look on the tall Herbies, and we have this continuous piece of shell going through all the inside. Another fat Herbie here, and this is a two-tone Herbie. And I believe this is one of the blue shades of shell Cordovan. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell in the lighting that I have here, but I think this is intense blue or denim blue shell Cordovan on the outside of the wallet with ultraviolet shell Cordovan on the interior, and we have the Horween shell Cordovan stamp right in the center. And I was really impressed with this Capone money clip just before I turned on the camera here. This is a really nice looking piece of black shell Cordovan with a hatch grain texture on it. And this one is blacked out everywhere except for the money clip. So you can see all the edges of this wallet have been hand stained with that black stain. And on the interior, we also have more of that black hatch grain. Here's another Vic snap wallet. This time it is in English tan Dublin. And this one has our non-magnetic snap. This is the traditional spring snap. On the exterior of this snap wallet, we have one card holder on the backside. So this is a special order version only. Here's a really, really interesting Tony the Ant. On the outside, we have what looks to be violet shell Cordovan on top of green shell Cordovan. And those two colors are going really, really well together, especially when you consider the interior, which is this really unique piece of psychedelic shell Cordovan. And on the psychedelic shells, we do see a range of colors. This one is very much complement to the colors on the exterior of the wallet, where we had that same sort of pale green with that little bit of violet and all the color in between. I'm going to spin this one around for you again because the colors on the psychedelic are similar to the marbled shell colors that we're just looking at. That color changes very dramatically depending on what angle you look at it. Another wallet here, Bugs Moran this time. This one has a quick access card slot on the back, which I think is a really good idea. I noticed on the Capone money clip, for example, those exterior card slots are really easy to use, and I've enjoyed using mine very much. This one on the interior, we have some vertical card slots, and this is a reverse interior with cigar shell Cordovan on the outside. Another vertical Bugs Moran. This time is in Amaretto shell Cordovan, my favorite shell Cordovan color. I'll spin this one around because some angles it's a little bit lighter and more yellow, and other angles it gets a little bit more red, like you see there. Very interesting color. On the inside, this is a little bit different. We have single vertical card slots with hidden card slots underneath, also in the Amaretto shell Cordovan. And here's one more vertical frank to look at, this time in black shell Cordovan. A really sleek look. This one has been made without any card slots on the back, and I think this keeps it a little bit thinner without all those extra card slots on the back. And let's take a quick look at some watch straps that are sending out today. The first one here is in reverse black shell Cordovan, and you'll notice this is a little bit more of like a pale sort of pea green shade, and that's because each piece of black shell is a little bit different. So I'll pull out this one here too. Both of these are black or reverse black shell Cordovan. One on the right is a little bit more blue. Here's another watch strap. This looks to be a short strap. We make them a couple different lengths. This one has what looks to be a 20 millimeter lug width, which we also do a bunch of different lug widths. This is in the ultraviolet shell Cordovan. Here's another strap, English tan Dublin this time. Very nice. leather to use for a watch strap. It's veg tan leather, just like the shell Cordovan, so it will mold around your wrist. And here's another non-shell Cordovan piece. This is color number 8 Chrome XL. This is the same thickness leather that we use for our valet trays, which is a little bit thicker than the leather that we use for wallets. And the color 8 Chrome XL is really nice because it has the color 8 stained on both sides. So we have the color 8 on the exterior here on the grain side, as well as color number 8 on the reverse side, and this is the side that will touch your wrist. Up next is another 2-piece watch strap. I think this is a 22mm lug width, and this one is in Western cigar shell Cordovan. And the next strap here is an Apple watch band. This is made in a really cool piece of shell Cordovan. This is raw black shell Cordovan. You can see the luster is a little bit different than the normal shell Cordovan, but there is a little mild sheen to it. This one's a really nice piece because it's 2 layers of shell Cordovan. So we have the raw black shell Cordovan on the top, raw black shell Cordovan on the bottom. This is the part that will touch your wrist. And then all the edges of this strap give it a nice framed out look. This is a natural waxed and burnished edge. So if you look at it like this, you get a little bit of that natural color all throughout the edges. And the last strap of the day, this is a really cool NATO watch strap, also in the Western cigar shell Cordovan. And I really like the look of NATO straps. I wish that these Apple watches didn't have the little sensor that tracks your heart rate and stuff, because then I would put something like this NATO on my Apple Watch. And one other interesting thing I've noticed, if you guys have been watching the new show on HBO, The Last of Us, he wears the main character wears a NATO strap. I think it's actually a canvas NATO strap. So if you're inspired by Last of Us, maybe pick up a NATO strap from somewhere. We're currently making these in 20mm in both the shell Cordovan and the Dublin leathers. I think we can also do Chrome XL. Thanks so much for checking out the video today. If you saw your item in the video, it should be shipping out either today or tomorrow. And thanks again so much for supporting us. Until next time, hope you have a good one.